If you guys aren't caught up with the import drama where Voy goes on the stairs, all the team owners are basically saying remove the import rule so we can get 5 Korean imports. Basically, that's where it all started. Yeah, and then Voy made a stairs video. And then basically Vulcan tweets, if you want full import team, go buy a team in that region, XD. Full Dam 1 comes NA, plays on 60 ping the whole year. Do they beat top LPL team? They don't, XD. And then finally, Tsm Reginald tweets, ignorant tweet. If every LCS team left LCS, you'll be out of a job, buddy, and probably be paid minimum. Captain Flowers replies, this tweet went 0 to 6. Double Lift tweets, I don't agree with your opinion, and that's fine. Your comment, if you want full import team, go buy a team in that region, XD, is distasteful and would be considered racist by many. I don't support xenophobic or racist comments and would like to see us elevate beyond that type of stereotype. This is what Jack tweeted, and he's quoting it and just basically meaning what Jack said. C9 Jack. Demonte tweets, ha 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 ha. And then Isaac tweeted, why would you say something so controversial yet so brave? After Reginald makes that tweet, Vulcan says, you saying I'd work at McDonald's, man? 2 Big Macs and 2 vanilla shakes to a WTF, please, says Corey JJ. Christian Rivera, aka Dom, says, Vulcan definitely good enough to get a job in another region without LCS though. Even Carlos Ocelot says, this is one dumb fucking take at Reginald. Mark Zimmerman even tweets, yeah, so instead let's push for a change that seemingly no one is on board with to kill the NA scene, so no one has jobs. And then that gif. After this, Reginald basically tweets out, imports are cool. I love imports. Imports. I'm not reading this all. And he said, EG isn't importing enough sad after they lost. Power of Evil. GG well played 100 Thieves because they won, blah 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 stuff like I won, blah blah blah. After this, Dignitas management is crushing it. They're somehow managing to win more matches than top teams that spend 4x as much. No troll. Hashtag Moneyball. GG well played. After this, Vulcan replies to Reginald and says, ratioed by McDonald's Travis Scott burger. Everyone supports him. Like Chase. Vulcan also tweets, McDonald's worthy performance, good first half of the split still. So they basically won after C9 faced the team. And he then tries to tweet and replies with obviously being a meme. I'll have a Big Mac and a Happy Meal, please. Thank you. Obviously trying to cover up for the tweets he did in the past and trying to make a meme out of it. And so obviously Reginald has been getting a lot of flack for this, and he has to come up with some sort of response or apology, but it wasn't an apology. This is his thoughts on the LCS. So basically, Reginald says, first, I want to say I went overboard with my comments towards Vulcan. Since then, I've reached out to him to personally apologize. We had a good conversation and he made it clear that it wasn't taken personally. The thoughts I truly want to express were that there are problems with the LCS and there will be natural progression to league minimum salaries for players. 3 teams are already significantly making cuts to their LOL budget, which is GGS, I think it's Immortals, and I think it might be FlyQuest. I do recognize, however, that my communication was distasteful and offensive. I grew up in a low-income immigrant household and worked many different jobs, including, as many of you know, Trader Joe's, where right after I quit to be an LOL pro, I have firsthand experienced the grind and sacrifices of many, and it's amazing to see what this game and the LCS has done for players, staff, and others today. As everyone knows, I sometimes let my emotions get the best of me. This is a learning lesson for me moving forward. I will work toward explaining myself in a more clear and professional way when talking about serious topics, especially in a public forum. This is a long post, but I'm hoping you will read it to the end because it contains a lot of context. There are a lot of nuances to operating an esports team, and I truly want to start thoughtful and meaningful conversations around the LCS. As a former player and a current owner in the LCS, I desperately want to be competitive internationally. My dream is for a team from LCS to win the Worlds, and I run TSM with that goal every year. I'm frustrated to see our organizations, players, and fans putting in so much energy and passion every year, and we keep coming up short. If you look at the past 5 years, LCS has not been competitive on world stage despite the fact that LCS invests as much, if not more, in terms of player salaries and infrastructure compared to most regions. World Championships results 2016 to 2020. So LCS, 3 people have been to the quarterfinals in 2016, 2017 only 1, and then 0-0. Only 3 people have made it to the quarterfinals in the last 4 years. 1 team has been in the semifinals in the last year, or 4 years. Only 3 teams have been in the quarterfinals in the last 4 years. 1 has been the semifinals, I think that was TL. And the finals 0, winners 0. Right now it's important to acknowledge that LCS as a region has issues. We are not competitive with other major regions. This is not a problem that we can solve alone, and we will need Riot, the teams, and the community to understand the core problems and work together. The most important problem we see is the player base size and talent we can draw from. Player bases ranked accounts bronze and above from OPGG. LPL, 70 million active players, 20 servers not from OPGG. LCK has 2.8 million, OPGG rather. LEC has 2.9 million, and LCS has 1 million players for bronze and above. This data means that other regions have significantly more players with the potential and aspirations to go pro. In other words, a larger player base results in a greater number of potential professional level talent from an absolute perspective. This effect is further compounded by the fact that a larger player base requires a talented player to be better than so many more players to reach the rank of challenger. As a result, other regions have a more rigorous training environment and a higher level competition, which translates to more highly skilled top players on average. If you look at the top 100 to 200 players in each region, the average level of top players in NA is lower, and it's 100% true. NA players suck. With regards to the point that NA hasn't invested in talent, that notion is false. LCS teams invest just as much in talent development as teams from other major regions. After an embarrassing performance at Worlds last year, Tsm decided to double our investment for 2021. Other teams at LCS have similarly increased their level of investment. We're not giving up hope. This year alone, Tsm will be investing $8 million in USD. 1 million of which is solely dedicated to academy, amateur, and other developmental efforts. But 3 million of that is donated to Sword Art Online. But only 1 million is put into academy, amateur, and other developmental efforts. He also goes to say something about LFL peaking 190 viewers, while the NA Academy peaks 63,000, which is quite low to be honest for finals, I think it was. Then he also says that in NA, you have the same players qualifying for scouting grounds multiple years in a row, and the academy and amateur infrastructure does not have the same level of grassroots supports. That's true. I'm always number 1, baby, and I don't even try. He also goes to say that Korea players get 5 to 15 ping. This is like ping for pro players. EU players get 20 to 25. China gets 10 to 20, and NA has 60 plus. They're all in LA and they all get 70 ping. He also then bows to say that it creates different muscle memory when they're playing on solo queue versus tournament realm, and it's really weird. Obviously, if you go from 130 ping and you play to 60 ping, but then you have to go back to 130 ping, it is really weird to play on and probably can't do a lot of mechanics you could do. So that is probably a big thing. And honestly, they should just move LCS to Chicago, if I'm being 100% honest. That's it. So when he commentated on LCS minimum salaries, not saying McDonald's, he meant that LCS minimum salaries were 75,000. So he did clarify that, and obviously I can't say, okay, he didn't mean McDonald's. And Vulcan was just making a joke that he would be working at McDonald's. But obviously he meant LCS minimum salary. And he also said that COG versus TSM used to peak at 600,000 viewers. Where is it now? If the LCS teams can't perform internationally, I believe that fans will lose interest over time. He also believes that he wants to increase his global competitive strength and be known all over the world instead of, well, basically only being known in LCS and yeah, just like getting the same first place over and over again. He wants to do better at Worlds. That's his only goal. That's what I'm getting out of this, right? But obviously, us NA fans are being like, oh, let's concentrate on LCS and make stories in here. I do get where he's coming from now. He wants to basically expand his presence all over the world and like win worlds, so you know it helps his business, right? And everyone knows that TSM is a world champion, or just being a finalist or semi-finalist. So his goal is to basically win worlds and not to win LCS, which he's done multiple times. So I get that point. Of course, I would be a little angry if I saw a full 5 Korean team playing in the LCS and just being like, what is this, man? Why am I even gonna watch LCS, right? So might as well just import a team, or might as well just buy a team from the LCK and be like, hey SKT, can I buy your team? Thanks, I'll appreciate it. That'd be pretty cool. Or maybe just TSM goes to LCK. I don't even know if you can do that, but I feel like TSM can be like, here's TSM Korea, you know? TSM Korea, that's what he could probably do, not gonna lie. So that's his apology. Oh yeah, also this is what Reddit's response was to Reginald. Although one person has to state that it's actually hilarious that in this very document he shows that the LEC and LCK go toe-to-toe with the LPL despite having less than 1/20th of the player base, but the LCS can't possibly complete because it has 1/3 of the player base of EU or KR. Not to mention that EU and KR already bleed talent to LCS and LPL every year. Not wrong about that. If NA is worse, NA is worse. We shouldn't get rules to give us an advantage arbitrarily. I can't say that word. Arbitrarily. Wildcard regions get no such privilege either. Why is NA special? Translation: investors are on my ass about the lack of international results. Bridal, please bail us out. A reply was, well, if the LCS goes tits up, I'm sure Reginald can find a job somewhere working minimum wage. Honestly, I'll be honest guys, my opinion on it, if NA does suck, they do suck. If they want to fix the ping problem, dude, somehow just moved LCS to Chicago. Like, is it really that big of a deal? I don't think so. It's LCS, man. People can do it. Everyone basically migrated to LA, but LCS, right? You guys can do it. I'll be honest here. Now, Vulcan has a response at Reginald's tweet, a live response from Travis Gafford. This is what he has to say.
Replying.
Importing more players.
Okay, so then you made the tweet, and then a team owner for TSM ends up replying, and ends up kind of getting dogged on. But what was your reaction when you saw the tweet come him? Because I think you kind of played it off like a joke in your reply, and sort of spawned this McDonald's thing. So what was your reaction when you saw that, and how did you decide to reply, etc.?
I mean, I was kind of, I don't know, surprised. I was like, what the hell? How can he say this to me? Like, it was a bit crazy at first, and then I wanted to come up with a reply to him because I wanted to prove or like show how ridiculous it was of an answer to say to me. And I felt like it was kind of crazy that he would say that, given the amount of times he tried to sign me or tried to poach me. So in my mind, that was a bit insane that I would say like I'd be out of the job. I don't know. So I had to reply, and then when he made his tweet, I felt like I had to ratio in some way, and it just had to be done. So
the ratio had to be done. Was your mentality?
Exactly.
I do have to ask for clarification, just because. But you mentioned poaching. I assume you mean like he tried to trade. It wasn't a situation where he was actively tampering or violating Riot rules with poaching, right? Because it's.
You'll turn it up, actually.
There's like a rule around that.
Right. Oh, okay. Yeah. Trading.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. He's now since come out and said that he reached out and apologized to you. So I don't know. Obviously, I'm not going to demand answers on what that apology looked like, but how are things between the two of you? And especially a lot of people don't seem to buy the idea that he was talking about league minimum, and he says that he was not talking about minimum wage. A lot of us do talk about league minimum behind the scenes, so maybe that's some of it, but I don't know what your stance is on sort of his statement that like, oh, I didn't mean minimum wage, etc.
I'm not sure, because he did say that I would be out of the job, right? And then I'd be paid minimum, so it's like he's contradicting himself in the tweets, and even in the first one only, I think he's like kind of contradicting himself. I'm out of a job, but also making minimum, so I'm not sure what he means. But I didn't take it too personally. I think it's just Twitter, right? And he did apologize to me and told me good luck on the season, right? I'm like, okay, no worries, like it happens. I just told him I thought you kind of written it, you wrote in the aggressive manner, and you know, I didn't take it personal, so it's fine. I don't know, like his tweet wasn't really an apology. I don't care if he's apologizing or not. Like obviously, since I didn't take it personally, there's in my mind not much to apologize for. But as an owner, I think he should show better manners, not manners. I don't know, show
composure, better composure.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Not attack me in a way, like the way he did, but it's fine.
Do you have any? And I know we're kind of running up on time here, but do you have any thoughts on the situation for players? Because obviously a lot of the owners have come out and said something like this. I've seen sort of different levels of passion for the players on this or concern. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on sort of the situation for players in this, how much conversation should be there, if you're hearing anything about the players all working together on this, or I don't know.
No, I haven't heard anything like that, but to me it's pretty concerning for any players. I think if I was an academy in a world where there were no import restrictions, I feel like I would have never gotten a chance to prove myself, right? And that's even though like all the owners are saying they're going to invest in any talent, like maybe there will be a rule where academy can only be any talent. I feel like they won't get a shot if you have a full Korean speaking roster. They won't go and get someone who can't speak Korean, right? So these players will be like so developed in academy that they'll never see the lights on stage. And I'm not worried about myself too much because I feel like I can get a job on either an NA team, or I'm sure some LSC teams will want me, hopefully. But I'm more worried about up-and-coming players who won't get a shot given to them because it's not worth it, right, in the owner's eyes. So to me, that's the main concern.
Well, I do really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me about all this stuff, and hopefully our next interview is more just about Cloud9 winning and beating a bunch of people or something like that. But I do appreciate the time. Is there anything you want to say to any of the fans out there?
Thanks for cheering for us, as usual. We all appreciate it, and
okay, whatever, I'm done. That being said, the next time TSM versus Cloud9 will be on March 7th. So let's see if C9... Oh, they have like some EU players versus TSM, the imports, the Huni, and the Sword Art. Who will win on March 7th? Stay tuned as Vulcan tweets, "I love flipping burgers with rail remount." Joy emojis everywhere. Burgers. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this drama explained, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.